Hello, my name is Sand, and today we're going to be going over probably one of my most requested types of videos, but it's analysis. We're going to be going over a set that I played against Galaxy. I felt that it was really instructional. I felt like there was a lot of things that will help other players grow. I mean, one of the things that I said after the end of the last tournament was that I'm going to try to help newer players just get up to scratch, and one of those things would be how you review your own gameplay. I've said in the past that the one thing that I think holds Rec back, specifically Rec, is that he doesn't review his own games. I think that mechanically he's fine. I think that he has a unique playstyle that's hard to counter. I think he excels in his given. I think he excels more than anyone else in his given play style, but it's just being able to allow yourself to set up those win conditions. And I think that's where Rex struggles, is that he plays too much into his opponent. He allows his opponent to not allow him to play how he wants to play. And so because me and him have a very similar play style, I'm going to show first of all how he should review his own games, and also how everyone should review their games. And I think that this is going to be very important. I'm probably not going to use too many matches from this, because really, once I've always said this, like, when I look back at some games, you can just look at like one specific match and it will tell you pretty much how that set is going to go. Like, we can review every single game of a set, but I think there's always one match that will tell you everything that you need to know about the matchup, or at least how the player is doing, like their mental state, blah, blah. All right, sorry about that. I've been ill for about 2.5 months, probably a chest infection that isn't going to clear up on its own, so gonna have to get that looked at. But anyway, if my voice sounds a bit weird, or if I'm a bit raspy, coughing and stuff like that, I'll try to edit out most of it, but just again, apologies. So, all right, let's get into this. So first of all, playing on the custom server. One thing about the custom server, the current version of the custom server right now was changed. I uploaded a video. I think it was Hazard, which is me versus Pillow, and I think the first half is like the updated settings, but basically it's Phil buff with it leans closer towards Phil's than the custom classic that we're used to. So a lot more floating. Still trying to keep the theme of being faster and having more options, but just a lot more floating. Just a lot more opportunities to float. No more grabbing like 10 planets at once. It shouldn't really be a thing. And just a little bit more consistent as well, because some of the RNG was just a bit too good, air quotes, as in the planets were just too cheap. And that's like the opposite of Phil's, where you just have a lot of really bad RNG where the planets are just bad and you only have like 2 planets to play with. And it's about fine-tuning, finding that that perfect Goldilocks place where you have decent maps, but it's not just like a speed tunnel fest, and you don't want to be just floating with 1 planet or 2 planets like you'd get in like vanilla Phil's. So that was what the change kind of did. I've already posted what the change was previously. If you're interested, just go to the Asylum Discord, or just ask me. It's fine what the exact changes were. But basically, so it should play more like Phil's now. It should play a lot closer to Phil's, less of that like frenzy playstyle, closer to Phil's, more consistent, again, because the RNG is not too good, not too bad, more like all of the planets are just okay. They're all very situational. There's like a lot of situational positions to play around, so not too many 1-factor wins. But again, because we've moved closer to Phil's, it's not anything goes like it was in the custom previously, which is just anything goes, get as many planets as you can, or attack as fast as possible. There's still maybe 1 or 2 factors, but sometimes it's not like there's not many mid maps. Basically, there's not really many mid maps, or if there are, There's ways to play around it with the distance being slightly smaller, so your early aggression is stronger. So it's not just I took mid, I win. There's a little bit more counterplay, and also the average size. So like the planets, if the planet has more prod, usually costs more. If the planet has less prod, usually costs less. We got that kind of thing going on in here. Not to the degree that we've seen in what is known as sand buff maps, not to that degree, but similar sort of thing going on here. So anyway, you'll see, but just that's the down low of what, you know, of what to expect when playing the custom server. So if you go boot it up right now, should be a more recognizable experience to what you get on Phil's, with just the added bonus of everything that's like good about the custom. So yeah. So we get into this. All right, so I mean, I'm gonna let it play. And then we're gonna talk about everything that happened. And I would say that this is probably one of the most. It's the first match, and usually the first match isn't the most important, but in this one, I feel like kind of set the stage. Because I tell you, there's not a lot of wins. There's not going to be a lot of wins. That's also another thing about custom. Because the maps are more consistent, typically, if you lose, and the way that you lost is probably going to be the way that you're going to continue to lose until you make the adjustments that you need. You don't really get many get out of jail free cards. The maps don't change to the extreme where, if you're good at tunneling, you get like a tunnel map. It's like every map is every map kind of sort of plays the same. Like like obviously it's different, but the idea behind most maps is that they play relatively similarly. So how you approach the maps can probably be applied for about 80% of them, 80, 70, 70% of the maps. So yeah, so if you're losing versus someone, probably gonna lose every single game to them. That's just how the custom is. I think it's a good thing. I know a lot of other people are going to say that they don't think it's a good thing, but anyway. So, all right, I'm going to play it out, and we're going to break this down. But there's already a few big mistakes, pretty much from the start. Misclicks don't help. But I think it was pretty much already over before then. Actually managed to hold that, but it doesn't really matter. Down an astronomical amount. The only thing, I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point he could take the 16, and there you go, there's the surrender. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go way back to the start. Okay, so here we have, so I'm gonna, when I'm gonna review games, I like to review from not necessarily what the best thing to do is, but what the player is most likely to do and how to improve. So it's me. I like early aggression. Denying areas of the map and forcing people into like unwinnable situations. So it doesn't make sense to take this planet, because going from here is just a waste of time, because this 14, let's say he does, so if we go bang bang and then we attack straight away, think about it, he goes bang bang, he doesn't need to do anything, he can sit in this position and he still wins. So that's an unwinnable position, not for the opponent but for me. So it always makes sense that if I'm going to do early aggression here, I'm going to go to this bigger 14, to this 2. So this is technically, you could consider that to be like a misclick, but not a misclick, but it's a mistake. Really and truly, this is like a very strong position. This is like very defensible. like you're not really gonna. I mean, it is possible because the map is really small. It is possible that if Galaxy goes like that, and I just go, and I have whatever. Let's just say we do 100% here, and then we go up, and then we take the 2, and then we float this, and then we try to make any type of cap here, and then hold if we can. But again, you know, it's Galaxy. He's already he's good at surviving. He's good at defense, in the sense that he's good at making the game last longer. So I feel like he'd be comfortable to hold that position. I think anyone would be comfortable, really and truly. I mean, you know, again, we have an answer for this. Like if you're gonna go like that, we can go like boom, 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 boom. That's like a much better position because we have the 9. So let's go back a bit. So we can go boom. We see that he takes. We see that he goes boom, boom. We go boom. We take that. This is 100%. We sent 100% here, and then he goes 14. We can go 16. That's again. So we have that theme. So we can go into the 16 and then attack, or we can go 16-1 and just defend. I mean, the only so that's already better. So that's an already better solution to the problem. You know, again, like this is just completely this is standard Galcon, right? This is standard. This is very specific to the player. So this is something that I would do. This is something Rec would do. This is something Croissant would do. Whereas this is something that everyone should do, because there's nothing wrong with this. Like this is a completely defensible position. You can send through the 1 again. Like I went 16 here, I didn't go this 16. So this side of the map is completely free and open to you. Can't really. It's hard to punish you here. It's especially if I'm committing my forces to this 16 and then attacking you. I'm doing that because I want to attack you, keep you on defense while I advance into the 1, advance into the 9. Which means that you don't really have to worry about any kind of counterplay on this 1. It's possible that I could do some sort of like consistent attack from here just to like make that 1 a little bit harder. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is pretty much GG's right here. Like this, obviously I'm playing against Galaxy. He's going to do some tricky type of floating. He probably might even try risk. Honestly, he might even try risk trade and everything just because it's a better position. I don't know. I don't know. But like this. Like if we just look at the map like this, if I had this, and he had just these, and then like that 1, like I'm winning on prod. I have the winning position. I got the 9. I can go into the 9. He has to be defending, so he has to wait for this 1 to like build up enough ships to take the 9. Whereas my tunnel my reinforcements are naturally going in that direction, so I can easily just split off a side. So I can activate the 9. You know, I can expand the 9 a little bit easier. Whereas he has to be defending this, he has to be defending specifically this, and these other planets. So he can't. He has to wait for that to passively build up. So again, I'm ahead of him. I'm ahead of him on tempo. So again, it's about playing to your advantages. Obviously, for me specifically, like this 14 does absolutely nothing for me. Taking all 3, that's just standard Galcon. That's like what everyone should do. But if we're going to be more specialized, for me specifically, then no, it's 14, 16, 1, 9, or eventually 9, or 14, 16, 1 into like heavy aggression, really just trying to break him down. And yeah, so for Galaxy, like if I take this 14, I'm going to take this anyway, that I'm going to take it late. First of all, I'm taking the better planet late. So taking the better planet late, so giving him a lead, not playing to my own strengths, floating from this planet is kind of pointless. It's like I said, it's pointless. It just puts you at a disadvantage. And then contesting this planet here doesn't, I mean, if we look, like, I don't know, just contesting this planet just feels kind of pointless. Because like I said, there's so much more value going from 16 down. It's one of those plays that like it's one of those just it's one of those noob buster moves, right? It's one of those like type of moves, like denying a player of this 1 is like one of those moves that you do to like someone, because like I said, it doesn't really matter. Like if I fight along this, he can just take his one here. He can just take the one here, because we're splitting the map horizontally. So technically this is on his side now. So we want to split the map sorry, not horizontally. We're splitting the map vertically, and what we want to do is split the map horizontally, so that, again, like I said, my reinforcements are going towards more prod. Like, I don't know, it just seems like fighting around this side is just really awkward, and it doesn't really do anything for me, because, again, like, think about it, like, this tunnel path here, like this tunnel path here, you know, I guess we could count this one. So we could say like this is your main tunnel path, like this is your main avenue of attack. That's like your main attack, and you want to be going like here. Like, you don't really, if you take, so aggressing on this one, think about it, like if we go boom boom and then we're like aggressing on this one, we're leaving ourselves open up to like just really awkward gameplay, like just really heavy attacks. So like, if we don't want it, you don't want to invest into this corner, right? You want to be able to use this corner effectively, but you don't want to invest ships. Like, you don't want to divert ships away from here, because then you just end up trading. You're just going to end up trading your main, right? So no, you want to be able to gain the benefit. So you definitely want something like this. You want something like this. You want your ships to be going in a direction to help your attacks, but you also want them to be relatively safe. Like, this is like a relatively safe structure. I mean, for example, like, you can't even go this way, right? You can't go, you can't go bang 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 and then like to this 16, because you get instantly countered here. So you can't even, so you it's just an awkward way to split the map. And it's just something that, again, like, this is like autopilot gameplay, where you just think, I want planets and I want to attack, but it's not, okay, I know what I need to do to win this map. So again, so already huge. So already, but without Galaxy even doing anything, I'm setting myself at a disadvantage, and I'm not playing towards my strengths. I'm playing gameplay from someone else's perspective. Like, someone else would benefit from taking this 14, but it's definitely not me. No, I don't think anyone would, but, you know, but like, yeah, so already we can say this is a big mistake. So we can just go onwards. So again, like I said, it's good. It's like, okay, I got his one, and I expand into this. I mean, it's really risky, I think, because he was looking at this, trying to make sure that it's not too bad. He didn't land there, because then he could have just got a cap, and we both get caps, and I have his one. I'm ahead, but like I said, it's not a game ending. This isn't game ending, right? This isn't playing to my strengths. And then look, I mean, and then we look at this, right? So even if we play, so let's go back a bit, right? Let's go back a little bit. So we see that this is going here. We need to start. So at this specific moment, I can't even see my cursor on the screen, but oh, it's over here. Like, this redirect is pointless. Just dump it. Or actually, the redirect might not be pointless, but just really, I need to be focusing on this here. Like, even just sending, just like I said, just sending 50% here. Just send a 50% here. You have his one. So now, like, again, like, so even though I made like a huge mistake at the start of the game, it's not over. It's just not playing to my strengths, but it's still fine-ish, right? It you know, it's still, it's playable, basically. And what can really, again, tapping back into what I do, which is forcing people to play in unwinnable positions. I don't like being equal to my opponent. So what we can do is we can send more here. We can send 50% here. We know that this isn't going to cap. We have a fleet going over here. We know this is not going to cap. He can redirect. He's still not going to, hopefully won't. The only possible cap that he has is my home, and he's probably not going to be thinking, oh, his home is empty. So if I send, let's say 20% here, just start sending, he's probably going to redirect back here, get nothing for it. But what does that do? It sets up the defense of this, because we know that as soon as we send over here, like reflexively, most players are instantly, once they get their stuff back, they're going to do something big and go down here. You know, like, we know that's coming, right? So boom, we have the cap here, we redirect here, instantly straight towards his one. Like that should be the order of things, because we've already committed to this float, right? Realistically speaking, I don't know how much I like this redirect here. I think leaving it to sit on the home might be more value, because it's crashing anyway, and it's probably not going to get another cap. So, or maybe redirecting, instead of this direction, redirecting it to this direction, so the fleet kind of is sitting like around here, just to deny him from any heavy aggression from this planet, right? And you're also keeping the fleet in this kind of like area. Again, you're keeping the fleet in this kind of area so that you're kind of pressuring his home as well. It's just being annoying, and you're also passively defending him from getting his planet back. Because like, let's say he does, decide, okay, I need to get my one back. Like, you have this one and you have that one. It's like he's either gonna fully commit to trying to cap this in a desperation play. He's gonna try, maybe he can try something, but his ships aren't really there to try and contest you on this one. And I feel like it's a very easy defense, so he needs to get his one back. So this position, if we look at it, if we have the fleet hovering over here, so he can't like 100% us. Can't 100% us, he's going to use 80%, but like we still have a fleet in the area. He can't get his one back, or he's not going to get his one back. We don't even need to defend it. Like, we have this one. We will be on our way to having this one. So we can just leave it. He has to pay extra. He has to pay more for it, right? He has to pay more for the one than we had to pay for. So he's already at advantage there. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it's not a game ending, but it's a very, very strong position to be in. Having both these ones, having a fleet over him, and basically having a dead fleet here, because this fleet can't do anything. He's not going to redirect it to the home unless it seems obvious that it's empty. He's not going to do, like, if I'm just sending from this planet to this planet to this planet, like if I'm just keeping that tunnel, that tunnel, he's going to try and aggress from here, or he's going to try and redirect and cap this planet. At that point, he has no fleet over me at all, and I have both of these planets, and I can just play. And like I said, I'm not going to, it doesn't make sense to capture the 9 here because of, like I said, the tunnel path doesn't work. So again, I can just get my 9 here. He might get his 1 back. He gets his 9 late, and we can play from there. But I have like a huge advantage now. So like that, even with the bad start, it's still recoverable. It's still playable. But again, we don't make that decision. And again, this is without Galaxy doing anything. This is without him doing anything. Just inefficient play, just allowing the game to stay in like a kind of equal position with like a small win factor that is irrelevant, where I can make a lot stronger plays. And so this is what I mean when I talk about, most of the time a win or a loss doesn't come from an outplay, but the player actually defeating themselves. It's things like this that build up over time, where you just end up giving so much ground, or you don't nail down a win that you have. It's things like this that cause losses, and it's not the flashy outplays, the flashy redirects. That shit doesn't really that doesn't matter. Most of the time it's just inefficient. So it's things like this. That's what you need to look at when you're reviewing your gameplay. You need to look at things like this. One thing that a lot of people say is don't review your wins, but even in the games that you win, look at them and be like, okay, what did I do that actually contributed to this win? Because your opponent could be doing all the things that I'm doing, which is like not efficient play, which is allowing you to get back in the game and win. Or did you do everything completely correctly and stop them just dead, stop them dead in their tracks? Obviously everyone has different play styles, different win conditions, but even your best games, I'm pretty sure if you watch them over, there's like loads of inefficiencies. So and this is the type of review process that I was going through. I think I took 3 days off work just before the tournament, and this is the type of preparation that I was doing for the tournament. Like, just looking at your games and being like, okay, that doesn't work for my playstyle. That doesn't work in general. That's just bad in general. Doesn't work for my playstyle. How can I tidy this up? How can I tidy this gameplay up? How can I make better decisions? how can I lock in a win early and hold it? How can I hold a winning position? How, you know, basically checkmating my opponent, you know, these types of things. And that, I feel like this process helped me. So when you're reviewing your games, you want to look at it from this type of lens. Like, okay, cool, you know, you have a lead, but could you have made it better? What's the next steps? How do you hold on to that? What are you trying to go for? Like, is this, like, does redirecting to this, does it really give me anything, or would redirecting here be better? You know, it might not be as aggressive, but maybe it's a better position. Like, maybe going in, getting an early lead and playing defense. Maybe that's a better position for you. Maybe you're better at defense. You know, these are the types of things that you need to be looking at. How are you impeding yourself from winning? Not just my opponent's gamma ray and he's just better than me, and so yeah, boom, done. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's very surface level. It needs to be more. I guarantee you, most people playing, 99% of people, they are the reason why they're losing. It's not that they're playing someone that's unbeatable. They're just making minute mistakes. Like, a lot of people only look at misclicks as like mistakes, but you know, it's the minute things, you know, that really begin to add up. You know, it's a completely symmetrical environment, so it's gonna be in the little details. So let's carry on from here. So we attack, which is very worthless. We're selecting this planet, it's a waste of APM to send, and then we're like, wait, why are we sending back? First of all, the tunnel path is here, you know, the tunnel path is here. Like, you don't want your ships to stick to this planet, so that's already bad. I mean, it's really bad to even think it like this, but we could cut the map. You know, if we cut the map in half like this, we can play like so. Sending away from here doesn't make any sense. It's just, like I said, this is autopilot gameplay. You're just playing the game. You're just doing things because you know that you have to do things, but you're not actually thinking about what you're doing. This is autopilot. This is Rust. This is what happens when you don't play, when you either don't play the game enough to actually, like I said, you're just in autopilot. You're just playing. You're tilted. You know, when you're tilted, you do shit like this. People do shit like this all the time. Like I said, just moving to move, or Rust. Like, you don't know what to do. You just know that you should be doing something. So, you know, or you're like a new player. Like, you get to a point in the game where you're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. So you just start doing anything. But yeah, it completely doesn't make sense. So again, Galaxy hasn't done anything but attack me, and I'm basically killing myself here because, I mean, think about it. If we had already been setting this up, we would have been, like I said, the whole 20%, start sending 20% out. You know, we'd have a big, this fleet would be going towards here, or at least 50% of it, you know, so 50% of this fleet would be going in this direction. We would have a fleet going in this direction, and like, we would probably be starting this tunnel as well. You know, we could even send this, we could even dump that, we could even send that 11 this direction. It's a bit dangerous, so probably send 50% of it and then send the rest of it down. And that's already a much better, that's like much better decision making right there. Like, it's much stronger. So let's go back a bit. Not go back, but let's play. I mean, we're like really heavy now. So like, we're really mid heavy, and I guess the idea, I understand the idea. Obviously the misclick doesn't help, but I understand the idea between stacking here, right? So if he overcommits to any of the side planets, we just go through mid and we win like that. But I mean, he's not overcommitting. He's literally just playing. You know, he knows that something that could happen. You know, it's cool, it's neat, like, it's neat that I was able to defend this attack, but it doesn't really give me anything. It cost me a cap, it messes up my ship, like my, I can't think of the word right now, but it messes up, like, where the placement of my ships throughout my cluster. You know, again, it's creating vulnerability in mid, and, you know, he does literally nothing. He just waits passively, and then he gets the 9. So now I'm at a position where I'm down. So after all of the lead, after all of the possibilities that could have happened, we have the worst possible outcome where he's a planet ahead of me. He has a bigger fleet on my side of the map, and I have like basically no ships in any good positions. Like I have my ships are all in defensive positions and they can't be. And I'm still sending from this planet when I've already forced the map to be split vertically, and so now I'm just not taking my 9. It's not that I'm denying him this planet. He doesn't want it. I'm just denying by attacking constantly. I'm denying myself the 9 because I need to defend. So yeah, it's like I forced myself into a losing position. And also one thing I would just add is that my cursor movement is just very it's very jittery, and that's just because of playing on full screen. Had to change my DPI, obviously not the correct one, but just like that is gonna cause misclicks. It's gonna cause misclicks, or if it doesn't cause misclicks, it will cause you know, a lack of confidence, because I won't feel confident. And that's why, you know, making, you know, it's not the reason why I made the decisions I made, but it's just something to think about subconsciously. You're not as confident in your gameplay because you're like, okay, shit, I might misclick or whatever. And so that's just another thing. I mean, it's things like this. Like I said, you can watch one match and you already know, like, instantly. So not like, these are things that can only be fixed through playing the game and like actually thinking about how to improve them. So the whole set right now is done. Like, Galaxy did absolutely nothing. And this isn't dissing him. I'm just saying, even if you think about what's the best possible outcome for me, right? The best possible like, we had the float, we had the early float, I think we had first cap. So we had early float, we had first cap, and we still lost, and it was all our own fault. So imagine now you get all of your win conditions and you lose. So what happens when you don't get them, right? Galaxy just survived and lived. So the rest of every single other game, you already know, if it's not, how can it be better than this? I got the win condition that I wanted. I got the early aggression. I, you know, delayed pretty important expansion, but I got the early aggression. I forced him into a undesirable position, but not necessarily a game-ending position, and I still lost. So that's 2 of my main win factors gone. Galaxy didn't do anything. He didn't have to do anything. So how in the next X amount of games, how could I possibly hope to win? And this is what I mean when I say review your gameplay. Because, like I said, how could I possibly hope to win if I'm already playing like this? Now, again, people can say, oh, well, you know, you don't even playing for 2 hours, as in like total for the week, you know, you just come back, blah, blah, blah. You're playing Galcon 3, not really playing the game anymore. But it's like, yeah, that's all true. But like, that doesn't change the fact, like, okay, yeah, you know, people change over the set, you know, they unrust or they untill or they whatever. But I don't know. I feel like there are specific matches. Like, I remember there was this game versus Galaxy and Rec. They were like neck and neck, and then it was like 7-4. No, it was 6-4, right? No, yeah. So it's 6-4, and I don't remember the specifics of how he lost that game, but it was something like this. It was like he didn't do anything, like Galaxy didn't do anything, and Rec just beat himself. And when that happens, it's like, okay, how are you gonna win when the cards aren't in your hand, right? And so he lost the set. I think it was like 15-6 or something like that. And it's expected. So when you look at players like Gamma, when you look at players like Galaxy, you will see that it's not necessarily that they outplay it's not necessarily that they outplay. It's that they're very good at playing standard Galcon and then from standard Galcon, they enhance their own win factors. And whenever there's an opportunity to capitalize on their win factors, they always nail it every single time. You know, Galaxy beat Gamma in a lot of those like big cluster maps because he doesn't misclick. So he's fine to match. He can match Gamma every single time because he's comfortable with those big clusters, where other players would get absolutely dominated. You know, of course, he doesn't have the fastest tunnel in the world, but I mean, he's not misclicking, he's not fail tunneling. So Gamma, over time, those little inconsistencies will cause him the loss. And, you know, that's what, like, that's also part of his win. His Galaxy's consistency to play standard Galcon well is part of his win factor. But obviously we understand that Galaxy has other win factors, like his absolutely oppressive floats. But I mean, we didn't even see that here. We didn't even see that in this game. So this is something that you want to look at, especially if you're, I'd say, especially if you're like below 2S. If you're below 2S, you want to be playing standard Galcon as good as possible. I think you want to not make any obvious mistakes, right? Like, you don't need to have like a specialization, because I feel like it will teach you bad habits. Like, everything I said about going into the 16 and stuff, like, there was nothing wrong with this strong position. But that, for me specifically, the 16 was absolutely crucial. Like, it was probably the best thing that I could have done. So, but for other people, you know, maybe not. You know, I don't know. There's so many things. But like, this is the type of stuff that you need to look at when you're reviewing your games. So we can go to another one. Okay. Alright, so already there's like a couple of problems here with this. So let's go back a bit. Let's go way back to the start. Alright, so as an aggressive player, I mean, it's fine. I mean, the thing is, this is what I feel like I'm copying myself, but this is very autopilot. This 15 is, it's not bad, it's not good, it's not bad, but it's very autopilot, right? Like, we sent 80% here, and then we can take the 21, and we can also go to the 5, and then we also have enough ships to go straight into the 19. Like, what, as an aggressive player, I want to get as close to my opponent early on as possible. Galaxy on this map is looking to take the 58. Why? He doesn't require high tempo games. He doesn't need it. He can play with these big clusters, these safe positions, because he knows that he's got like the longevity through his floating to like really mess up a cluster like this. He can, like, you know, he can attack from all sorts of directions. There's a lot of empty space where he can just sit a fleet there, and it's very sticky. Whereas for me, that's not really what I do. That's not really my MO. That's not how I play, right? So for me, it makes sense to go, you know, pretty much with everything. I mean, we say 80, but like, we could have done 100 here, but no, then we don't want to be late to the 5. This is unnecessary to be late to the 5. But yeah, like, you know, we go like this, and then basically our entire strategy is going to be, you know, I mean, these 2 planets might be worth more than this. I'm not sure, but we can either do something like that. It's kind of risky. We can either do something like play around these 2 planets and try to like have like some sort of kind of deterrent from the 58, or what I like is, because I know he's going to take the 21 because it's like the best planet on this map, playing around here, setting up the 18, right? Setting up to this 18. He can't really punish this. Like, it's very scary to be sending from this planet, because first of all, like, I feel like he wants to consolidate all his ships around this 58. Sending out to try and punish this doesn't really help him do that. I feel like he will end up taking, he will probably end up taking the 15. And at that point, I can take the 18, and like I said, and now the way that the map is, I have a nice, you know, a nice easy tunnel. I can put pressure on this planet just from the raw prod of this. He can't really do anything because he's got like the terrain, so he can send ships this way, obviously, this is the most vulnerable planet, which is why you want the 58. The 58 completes the cluster, or it opens up the cluster, because then this planet doesn't become a weakness. But like this is just such a stronger position for me. This tunnel path is so much stronger because he doesn't want to lose this. And now if I'm threatening this 21, is he really gonna take the 58? Like if I'm threatening it this hard, if I have this set up, is he really taking the 58 straight away? Like, I mean, it's Galaxy, like it's definitely possible, but I just feel like that's more of a deterrent, you know. So again, like it's like I said, it's not terrible, but it's just not great. It's not playing to my strengths. And then the fact that we didn't capture it is just not ideal. Oh shit. Oops. Oh, it's not that bad. Okay, it's not ideal. So yeah, something else happened here that was interesting. So we're late to cap. Like this fleet, like I get it, we didn't take the 19 straight away because he doesn't have 15. It's fine. And we kind of, and it's like, oh, it's like, well, you're up a planet, so like you should be happy about that. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. But like he's consolidating power towards the 19, which is also near to the 58, which is exactly what we don't want. We want him to be, we don't want him to be putting ships anywhere near this 58. We want it to be we want it to take effort for him. So like we want him to be going like this, like to be sending ships up and here and here, and he's like, okay, you know what, fuck it, he took this 18, I'm gonna take this 15. Like we can play around that. Like if let's say he has the 19 here, like we want him to be pushing ships away from the 58 because we don't want to play around it. We want to play around, like, this is a very hard defense, right? You got this vulnerability here. You got a massive amount of space where we can fit a fleet right here. You know, we got a clear tunnel path here. Like we got a vulnerability here. We got, you know, we could put a fleet here. We got a vulnerability here because of the direct tunnel path to it. You know, there's no terrain, like not really, you know. It's like we have all of that, but instead we take the 15, which allows him to just take the which allows him to take the 19 as a response. And we can't just go straight into the 19 because we don't know if he's going to rush us or not. We see a fleet like this. It's not enough to kill me, but it is enough to do damage and set up a potential game ending situation. So for example, he could take this fleet and he could park it here while beginning to attack if I took the 19. And there's absolutely nothing I can do because that's just too much. I've taken too much, right? So I can't take the 19 straight away. So I lock myself out of a better option. I have to wait for him to take the 19 so that I can then take the 19. But the decision here to just keep the float alive is realizing that. So I know that he wants to take the 19. So I know that he's going to have, like, he either chooses to defend, which means that he's going to delay his 19, or he takes the 19 and tries to expand, you know, and I have to defend this. But like I said, I can't really defend this. I don't have the ships to defend this fleet, but it won't kill me. If I play my cards right, it won't kill me. So it's kind of like I'm now forcing myself into a trade, which isn't ideal when I could have just forced myself into a prod lead and a strong position by just being faster to expand and then a stronger position. Whereas now I'm trading for what? Like what? So he does the safer thing. He doesn't go straight into the 19. He defends and then goes into the 19, but he sends out. You know, I make it look like I'm gonna go to the home. We get like a cap here, like okay, whatever. Like it's even-ish. He doesn't have the 15. So wait, and I don't have the 19 yet. So and now it's like even. So it's like, oh okay, well they're both even. Like it wasn't really that bad, but actually it was like really bad for me. Because now again he's set up this, like all of his planets are now funneling towards this, and I don't want him to have it. Right? You know, it's hard. So like I'm getting the flow. I'm trying to separate his ships from that, but like it's kind of hard. Like I also have to defend. So Yeah, like I mean, like I said, he wouldn't be freely sending from this planet. If I had this 18, he would not be freely sending. So instead of this 15, here, if I had this 18, he wouldn't be free sending from that planet. And I don't even think, like I said, I don't even think Galaxy would commit to this 18. I think he would go 15. If I took this 18, he would go 15 here. Again, just slowly wiggling my way out, because like I said, I want this 18. I want this tunnel path, right? And I'm not even saying I'm not even saying I'd win from this position. I'm just saying that's what I want as a player. That's what I want. So I'm not playing to my own strengths. And then we take the 19. Why? Because it's safe. Because we know that we need to expand. He's got a float on us. I don't want him to have an infinite float on me, so I expand so that he has to burn his ships, or his ships will get sloppy. He has to send them back, burn them, whatever, and he's gonna expand. But he goes straight into the 58, which is what we knew was gonna happen. And then I match him because I have to. At this point, I have to. Like I said, if I had ships, if I was stashing ships here, and he took that 58, he's losing this planet. He's losing it straight away. So again, it's like, you know, misclicks don't help, but again, it's like, it's not really the be all and end all. Like, yeah, we get okay, we get some decent caps here and there, but now we're playing the Galaxy game. Like I said, endless floats. These are like extremely punishable positions, and it's like I can keep taking planets, but it's not helping, because every planet you take just makes the cluster stronger anyway. And I don't like strong clusters, not really. So yeah. And then obviously percent usage is just not where it needs to be. Really, I should be on like 20 and 80, but I'm on like 50 and 100. So, but again, that just comes with being rusty or whatever. But like, yeah, so percentage usage is not where it needs to be. Misclick, but doesn't really matter. Like, already destroyed my chances. And that is just a couple games in. So what's the score after this? So that's a 4-0. So, I mean, and again, like, what did Galaxy actually do? Like, and I'm not, and again, like I said, I'm not dissing. I'm not saying that he only wins because of my mistakes. I'm just saying, a lot of people, they'll be like, oh well, I lost to Galaxy. He's the best in the game. Makes sense. But that's not true. That's not. You didn't lose because Galaxy is just a god. Do you know what I mean? It's the same. Like, people used to do that with Gamma. Like, I mean, even if you watch some of Pillow's review, he kind of has that attitude as well. Like, oh well, Gamma's just like super fast. He's like the best player, so that's why I lost. It's not entirely true. It's not entirely true.